fantastic research that you have done. I saw it on Twitter and on X. So those of us who are not on X or our listeners and viewers, we're going to decipher as to what all has happened and what is the research that you have done. Basically, 969 million Indians eligible to vote in India in this current elections, and you've written in an article also that think tanks and the media, foreign media, they have been working like on an overdrive to discredit the elections even before they had begun. We are now, at the time of recording, we are doing the first phase is over and the second phase is about to happen in a couple of days. So we'll go into it one by one, but tell me what prompted you to do this research.
Sure. So, in fact, very happy to be here and at such a momentous time, perhaps very consequential for India. The background and history to this research actually predates the elections. It goes back several years when I was the CEO of Prasar Bharati, when we saw a consistent pattern with the manner in which global media was reporting on India. Very specifically, I recall instances such as the anti-CAA riots, just about when President Trump was to visit India. Then, of course, the coverage during COVID-19. In fact, this entire research has been published as a serious research paper in the Quarterly Journal of the Indian Institute of Mass Communications back in December 2021, where we had analyzed a much larger body of articles, almost 5,000 plus articles, to look at the manner in which global media outlets have been reporting on India.
This is before the earlier election, before 2024 election.
Before 2024 elections.
Okay.
So that is the background or backdrop within which this particular set of links that I had shared and articles that I had pointed out, that the same pattern is repeating itself again in 2024, where the global media is taking a very activist role in trying to raise all sorts of questions to delegitimize the whole election process, be it with the electronic voting machines, be it with all these discredited or deeply flawed democracy rankings.
So the reporting on India is not an organic one that you're saying. You're saying a trend which doesn't seem to be non-motivated.
Absolutely. It's a trend and pattern that has been going on for quite some time. In fact, it's kind of stunning because after I brought out this list of headlines in the context of 2024, I went back and looked at what happened in 2019. It's almost similar pattern of headlines. So it tells you that there's a certain biased lens with which global media has tended to look at India. And fortunately, that lens is informed by certain individuals or certain organizations in India who have sort of contributed to that view, and that view prevails, and I think that is the dominant view, unfortunately, in which India is being viewed.
So those of you who are on Twitter, now known as X, please do follow Mr. Shashi Shekhar. He's given an entire listing. Also, you can go into his article, which is in the Indian Express. But we've got a monitor out here where we've got all the headlines out. So those of you who are on YouTube will be able to see this. But those of you who are listening in on audio platforms, for their sake, I'm going to be reading out the headlines and we'll discuss this with Shashi ji, who's going to tell us, because it's his research, which very cleverly, I saw that Sam Petroda had just picked it up, copy-pasted, and not given you credit for that research.
It's appalling. I mean, someone of Mr. Petroda's stature to be, being so lazy, at least that he could have, altered some of the...
No, he did
nothing. He just copy-pasted.
I saw that even the quotation marks had been picked up. Okay, so let's go into this. And these headlines are for the 2024 elections, even before the elections had begun. So Bloomberg begins by saying Modi is making India's polls all about himself, why India South rejects Modi and why it matters. Now, we don't even know at this stage whether the South has rejected Modi or not, because elections haven't begun.
Right.
Polling hasn't begun, but Bloomberg has decided that the South has rejected Modi. Modi's election campaign may have already peaked. So the campaign has not even started in right earnest when this article has begun. Right. Because the real campaign begins when the first phase, just a week before the first phase of elections, but these have already come. And then we go on to Bloomberg continues, billionaire Raj is pushing India towards autocracy. India's voting machines are raising too many questions. I don't know how are voting machines raising questions, like physically impossible. But anyway, Modi's sledgehammer politics are battering Indian democracy. Billionaire press barons are squeezing media freedom in India. To explain this billionaire fascination, firstly, I think Western media fascinated that India can produce billionaires, and then how dare billionaires own media? Of course, we forget Rupert Murdoch, we forget all the billionaires who own
Michael Bloomberg, the guy who owns Bloomberg, is a billionaire. So, I mean, it is paradoxical. I mean, it is so laughable that Bloomberg should be raising these questions about so-called billionaires when Bloomberg is, in fact, owned by a billionaire himself.
A politician too. But here, our billionaires are not politicians.
Right.
Our billionaire own media, which all across Western democracies you see that. Right. Then we go on to the Times of India, which picks up the Chatham House article. So Times of India gives it, democratic backsliding in India could prompt West to review its cooperation with India. And the Chatham House headline was, Modi's India has become less liberal but better governed. Explain the oxymoron to me, please.
So in their worldview or in their thinking, the idea is that somehow Modi is authoritarian and hence India is better governed. Not because processes have improved or certain reforms have taken place, but because he's got this danda and everyone is now.
So what is the choice before an electorate? Be badly governed and have more democracy, or have an autocrat and be better governed? Is that what Chatham House is trying to say, which gets picked up by everybody?
In fact, this is the false strawman that pretty much most of the global media outlets are trying to portray.
This trope.
This choice, this false choice, that somehow it is a choice between an autocratic regime and then, of course, some vague notion of a democracy which is actually chaotic and anarchic in their mind.
Click here to watch the full episode.